Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Getting Real with Bossy, the podcast that tells you what it's actually like to be a business owner. Today, we're sitting down with Karen Bartholomew, founder of the Pause Method, a coaching philosophy built on something most of us are really terrible at: slowing down. Karen helps women and leaders step out of the chaos, question the stories they've been telling themselves, and actually realign with who they are and what they want. Not in a fluffy way, but in a real, actionable, life and business changing way. And honestly, in a world that still, even now, glorifies hustle, this conversation feels like exactly what we need. Thank you so much for joining us, Karen.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited about sharing this message.
I'm so glad. Well, we are very glad to have you here with us. Thank you so much for joining us. I think I just want to say pausing, something we all know we need to do. Sounds so simple, but actually seems really uncomfortable for me and most business owners that I know. So I'm very curious what you can teach us today, because it is one of the most difficult things to do as a small business owner.
Absolutely, 100%. Because we just hustle, 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 grind, grind, grind. Like we don't feel still, like most of the
Hmm.
time. Isolate ourselves when we need a moment. And that doesn't feel really great either, because then we remove ourselves from our community. The hustle, the culture, just, attempting to be our authentic selves, but we're burned out most of the time.
Right.
So teaching the power of the pause just gives us a little bit of a step back, right? To really like hone into like what we want to create. And sometimes in doing that, we tap into like all the things that keep us from doing what we want to do. And then it gets scary and then we stop and then we get back on the hamster wheel, right? Because that's a scary place to
Right.
go. So one of the teaching tools I use is you don't need to go there all in. You just need to identify where it's coming from and go, oh, okay, that's where it's coming from. I can keep moving and doing what I'm doing. But at some point, we want to unravel that so we don't start going back to the BS that we keep falling ourselves into over and over and over again, right? So I teach women how to take a little step back and reprogram themselves, basically a new narrative for themselves that actually gets them moving forward, even though it's just tiny little micro baby steps.
Right. I think reprogramming is such a good word for this year too, because we're going to
Yeah,
be doing a lot of that. So
yeah,
very timely.
yeah,
Well,
definitely,
and I feel like
definitely.
you mentioned the hamster wheel, and like as business owners, you're running the hamster wheel to get business, and then you get the business and you run the hamster wheel to do the business. And then when
Yeah,
business slows down, you run the hamster wheel to get business. So it's like you're either trying to get business or handling the business that you got.
Hmm.
And it's just one thing after another.
right.
And
It's
it's
never
so
ending, right?
scary
Yeah,
to
it's never
pause
ending.
because I might miss something, right? And I don't know when the next downturn is going to be. I don't know when, the economy is going to fail or a pandemic's going to hit, or I think it actually might be worse now after the pandemic of like that.
Hmm.
I have to be prepared for anything. So it's like, I can't pause because if I pause, then I'm not getting business. If I'm not working,
Well,
then what if I can't pay my bills next month?
isn't that interesting how that is absolutely once you start taking a pause, what happens is you absolutely realize how crazy that thinking is. Because if
Hmm.
we don't take care of ourselves, right, our self-care, we're really no good to anybody. So how are we going to be prepared for what happens in life, right? Because life just presents itself the way it's going to present it. We don't really need to tell the universe like what to do. It's been doing its thing forever, right? It's like, and we think that, oh, we need to be all prepared for what's going to happen. But really, life happens and we're not going to be prepared. But we can take care of ourselves. Like when you get on a plane and they ask you to put your oxygen mask on first so you could help others. We can't really help others the way we really want to unless we're taking care of ourselves. So, one of the things I challenge people with is take a small pause in the morning to get yourself really grounded and ready for the day, regardless of what comes in your day, because then we're grounded
Mm.
and we're in tune to be able to take care of that like chaos. In my business, in both businesses, because I have two businesses, one is in mortgage. I've been in mortgage for 20 years. It's never the same day. There is always a loan
Right.
going south and we got to fix it. And there's always some inspection that comes in that weren't expected to, or the appraisal comes in low, or it might come in high, right? And then we don't want to, tell the seller about that. We just want to like congratulate and give the buyer saying, hey, you just made a bunch of equity in your home, right? So, but even with women, I mean, like there is stuff that happens all the time. Like I just had to pivot because my daughter's having a baby literally in a week from tomorrow. And I thought it was
Wow.
going to be next month. right? And now it's the beginning of the month, not after the month. And so we had to pivot everything. Like, oh my God. I mean, I just, had to push meetings out. I mean, it just happens. So if I'm grounded in all that, I'm like, I can approach that like in a very systematic way and go, okay, I just need to move this, move this. Let me ask for some help, which we're not good at, right? Bring my community and go, hey, I need a little help here. I need a little help there, right? I'm supposed to watch my other grandkids for 3 days. We might need some help because I might have to like go to the hospital, right? And so we have a backup plan. And so now I'm not all crazy when life presents itself because I don't know what's going to happen. We really don't know what's going to happen when we get off this podcast.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that is a lot that you have going on, and seeing how calm, cool, and collected you are, it seems to be working. So, can we just go start back at the beginning, reading through your information? You talk about a moment, I think 14 years ago. I don't know if that timeline still fits in with the paperwork that I
Yes.
have, but how you felt stuck and disillusioned, and what did that actually look like in real life?
So I was a single mom of 3 kids who were, God, how old were they? Well, she's 25. She must have been 15 or something. No, 14, 25. She was 10, right? 10 years old. I had a 10-year-old, but it started actually before that. I got sick of me. I had a newborn at one time. I had a 5-year-old and I had a 11-year-old. And I
Wow.
came home from the hospital by myself. Very traumatic. Husband left the day I came home from the hospital. I knew all these kids and I know what to do with them. The church definitely came in and helped me. Community came in and helped me, and that was awesome. But it was tough. And so I was a single mom for a long time. So by year 4, I just got to the point where I was just tired, exhausted, tired of doing life the same way, tired of ending up with the wrong men. You tell yourself, I'm not going to do that again. And then it happens again. Or just the BS thinking in my head. And I'm like, I have to do something. I'm just sick of me. I need to take a pause. I need to get my kids taken care of for a few days. A friend of mine asked me to go to this self-development workshop for 3 days. And I just said yes, because I was that done. Right. And so I went, and it was the best thing I ever did for myself because I got to see how I played life. It was tough. It was a tough 3 days, but I'm like, wow, this is crazy. What I'm hearing, what I'm seeing. And I'm like, this ain't working. And so then I was able to actually take that and do more classes and find out how I was effective and ineffective in leadership, how I took that identity that I had and took it mentally and physically. I ended up being a coach for this organization and actually teaching other people how to make big goals and do amazing things in 3 months. And it was all mindset work, really, because if your mind's not right, then there's nothing comes out of it. So then, when it came time, I was coaching in personal development and I was coaching in sales, but neither one of these organizations put the two things together. And I'm like, oh, I can do that. And so
Mm,
then I started doing it, and everything I learned was really a formula, right? They didn't teach that, but I'm like, listen, I've been doing this and helping women for a long time. I'm just going to put a formula on it. And so that's how I came up with the pause method. And my first pause was literally taking a walk to the mailbox because I was so chaotic, so overwhelmed. And I'm like, I just need to get away from this. And so as soon as I got out and I realized what that did for me, instead of being on that hamster wheel all the time, right? Performing for everyone else and not taking care of me, then I'm like, wow, life looks a little different when you just pause for a moment to get a sense of peace. And then you literally can look out and see joy. And so I'm like, okay, this works. I need to do this more
right.
and more and more and more. Yeah. And I had a mentor that challenged me all the time. And so when I work with women, I don't give them homework. I just challenge them to go out every week and do something that I know is going to move the needle based on their programming.
Well, that sounds something that we all deserve. We
Yeah,
deserve
we
that
do.
time. We deserve that joy. And I think sometimes we feel like there's so much guilt that goes into small business ownership, I feel like, and women in leadership in general. What are we missing? Is it the home? Is it family? We feel like there's so many things that we're in charge of, that that ability to just pause and have a little bit of joy. And what a wonderful thing.
Well, it's giving yourself permission. That is the big word that I'm using this year, is permission. Like, when do you give yourself permission to do something for you? I mean, that's like a real question, right?
Yeah, I think 3 times last year, I think.
I
So
think about it
so
all the
here's a
time.
little tiny thing that you can do. Like some things are just the tiniest little thing. It's like, what can you give yourself permission today? Like,
And
really,
that
like if I asked
and
both of you
that's a
that
good place
question,
to start.
what's a permission for something that you really need today or you want today? And what is it? It may be like, oh my God, I haven't got my hair done for months. I just need to make the appointment, right?
Yeah.
or I just need to go get my nails done or my toe, whatever it is for women, right? Or I just need to go for a walk for 5 minutes. I know women that just took a 5-minute walk around the corner and then it became more and more. And it was permission to go on her own with
Mhm.
none of her kids. And eventually the kids started saying, oh, mommy's on her walk. And that walk became 30 minutes.
Wow.
And oh, no, we can't go with mommy. It's totally fine. That's her time. Right.
It's like Kelly's ice cream on the floor time.
My supine when I just lay
Yeah.
flat on the floor and the kids are like, "Oh, mom's on the floor." And then, like, nobody
Yeah,
talks to
right? I
me.
mean, like, you condition them to what you need and want, basically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have a younger daughter, and it was really tough for me when she was with a certain individual, and it was like a 6-year relationship. And I got to the point where I couldn't handle it anymore. And I have a house in North Carolina, my second home, and I literally took a mental break because I was like, I was going nuts because it's
Mhm.
hard to see your kids do things where you see them just jumping off the cliff, right? And you want to save them and you can't at some point. And I think I was trying to save, 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 save for so long, right? And then I was like, I got to take my hands off. And so I went out. And my kids had a hard time with me being gone because I literally was gone for 3.5 months. I gave myself permission to stay there till I felt that. And they were really upset. They're like, that's too long, mom. And I'm like, okay, well, how long's too long, basically? And I said, you know how you guys sometimes need a mental break and I don't hear from you for a while just because you have life going on and whatever. And I don't know really what's going on, but it's just been a while since I've heard from you. I needed that for myself. I wasn't
Mm.
good to anybody in this state. And so
That's
what happened
wonderful.
was it changed the communication between us.
Mhm.
It really did because I took a step back. I took the pause and I'm like, I'm going to go figure this out. Why is this so hard for me? And so when I figured it out and I took the moment to go, I'm going to change that, what's going on with me, that this is affecting me so much, everything changed. And now she works for me again. And it's amazing. She's having a baby in 7 days?
Days.
7 days. She's having a baby, right? So, and it's just changed everything. And it's been amazing. So, but it wasn't me looking outside of myself to find some quick fix, which is what we all do. Oh, wait for some circumstance to come. No, no, it was inside of me. A pause that just I took literally inside of me to stop being on that hamster wheel. So the hamster wheel is very different for everybody, right?
Mhm.
For everybody. So, I mean, that's one thing. And then the other thing that I literally do help women with is to tap back into your femininity. We take on so much masculine behavior because we think we have to, because, man's working or he's coming home and, he's just so tired and he shouldn't help or whatever, whatever. But I see so many men on their phone and women like with the kids and the groceries in a wagon. And I'm like, dude, what's happening over here? If we can
Only have to.
multitask, which no one does well, then
No.
you can too.
I just
Mhm.
saw a post online and it said something along the lines like, we've all come to agreement that women can do everything that men can do. So why can't we come to agreement that men can do everything women do? And it took me a second to understand that that meant like cleaning the toilets and vacuuming and going grocery shopping and meal planning and like all of the things that we do to keep the house
Yeah.
running that just naturally falls on us or we take it on. Like it's not necessarily their
Yep.
fault, right? Like we just do it. But it actually I had to read it 3 times to understand
Mhm.
that I didn't understand what it was saying until the third time I read it. And I was like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah. We just automatically take it on. It's kind of like when you own a business, and I'm guilty of this too. Sometimes earlier in my businesses, like probably, I don't know, 15 years ago, I would be like, I'll just do it because I
yeah.
didn't want to take the time to train. And now
Mhm.
I train my team. Do not take it. You're actually hurting that person. You're enabling them not to take it on when they're totally capable of doing it. Just take the time to teach them and
Yeah.
then inspect what you expect, right? And then let them fly. And they're going to make mistakes. We're human beings, right? And so you just tweak, tweak, tweak. I remember I had an assistant once. He kept doing this one thing, and he just couldn't get over the hump. He kept forgetting, forgetting, forgetting. And I finally said, we put a sticky note on his computer. I'm like, big old pink thing, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, and he never forgot again. But it took like 20 times. It's like when you tell your kids, put your shoes on, and they don't want to put them on, right? Then carry them out and walk through the snow. Eventually, it
Yeah.
To
happens.
get there. Right.
We get
You just
there,
have to
right? We get there.
you have to make it important to you that
Right.
they learn what you need them to learn. Because if you just do it, then you're actually undermining your own importance.
Yeah, and some people like don't give them permission because, they don't want, you're buried, but you're burned out, but you don't want to ask for help, right? And there's all these expectations that we put on ourselves. And I'm like, no, but the truth is, what are we fearful of?
Well, and I
What are you
think
really fearful of?
We're fearful of giving up control.
right, and I think so many women have built their identity around being the one who handles everything, and what happens when you start to question that? So, how do you separate ambition from burnout? I think that's so tricky.
Well, I think that people have forgotten the things that brought them joy and peace. And so when you get on that
Mhm.
hamster wheel, right? I mean, it's the same thing. We wake up in the morning, we take care of everybody, we take moments to get ourselves ready, right? But like, who's really working out or taking a walk in the morning? I mean, whatever it is for you, that could be different things. I'm just giving you an example. Are we drinking a 8-ounce glass of water in the morning, right? Are we, having a moment for some meditation, even if it's just sitting outside and listening to the birds, because the birds are out now at 7 a.m. They wake me up. Just to take a moment to find some peace and joy instead of just jumping on that hamster wheel, right? And then you're jumping on the performance track at work, right? Trying to, keep everybody. I have women that actually get underneath their desk for 10 minutes just to time out.
Love that.
Because, right, I mean, just shut the door and just take 10 minutes. No one's going to know you're in there. No one's going to know, right? They're going to think you're in the bathroom or wherever you are or whatever, right? Well, she's just gone or whatever it is, just to take a moment. Because here's the thing about us entrepreneurs and being in corporate America, we just continue to like do, even CEOs go, 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 go. And we never, the creativity is here, but sometimes it's so fast paced that we can't even listen to ourselves. So we're just and we have the answers.
Uh-huh.
When I was in this class in 2010, I got to tell you, this is one of the craziest things. I was sitting in the back and I had the answers. They were playing this game. Very interesting game. It was called the red black game. Can't explain it to you because if anybody goes plays it, I don't want to give the answers. But I was sitting in the back and I didn't know that I was a natural leader, but I found out during this time. And I was sitting in the back and I was sitting here. The Apprentice was one of the shows on at the time. And I said, boy, if they were on The Apprentice, he would fire their blah, 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 blah. And one of the facilitators heard me say that. And he said, well, then why aren't you up there being the leader? And I what? Instead of sitting in the
Good
back,
question.
quiet, right? Really, really had to look at that and go, wow, thank you. I still didn't go up there, but and then I became a coach for that organization, the coach of coaches, which was the one that was actually coaching the coaches that were it's just a whole transformation, right? And then I got to see, effective and ineffective leadership. I chose not to make people happy, but I chose to figure out who I was, not being a people pleaser. Where do I lead from the back, from the side, silently, and from the front, what works and what doesn't work, right? So I'm like, and it was painful because I like people to like me. I'm a people pleaser by trade, right? And I'm this middle child
Mhm.
with 2 boys, right? Mediator, all these things, right? And I had to go, it's okay that they don't like me. I'm not here to be liked, right? And the funny thing is, I am coaching one of those ladies that didn't like me in that class, and I coached her later and we became friends. So weird, right? Total, roundabout. We talked about it. I didn't like you when you got on the bus because the class started and like I got up there, with a microphone and said, okay, let's play a game. And people were like, who is she? But I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
okay.
and it's also very common for women to not like strong, independent women, especially upon first meeting. And I will say, most of my girlfriends and I did not like each other, like upon first meeting, was like, oh, like she's okay.
Yeah, but
But
what was
then
it?
you
What was
start to
it? What was the
realize
thought process running
we don't know.
about
Like
that?
when I was younger, like I don't know, like I wasn't paying attention, but we like laugh about it now of like,
Oh,
well, now
younger.
we see the benefit in each other and our strong personalities.
Yeah.
Right.
But when you're young, you're like, I don't like her.
Yeah.
Well, because, we don't want people to know who we really are,
Mhm.
right? I want people that challenge me now. I'm like, if you hear me say something, like call it out. It's the
Right.
only way I'm going to grow, right? Yeah. Women are great, but the same thing is true though, right? That, we take on all this stuff, but we need people to go, we need to let that go. We need to let that go. And so every week I'm mentoring women, I'm like, okay, what can you let go of this week? Right? What's a little thing that you can let go?
And
Maybe just, hey, you know what? I need to go do this. Can you make the bed?
Right.
You
Like
know
we
what?
take
I
on
need to
so
grab.
much that the little things end up being just as stressful as the big things because they're just on the list, right? Like there's 10 things on the list. Well, 5 of them might not be important. but they're just running through of like, these are the things I need to get through. Like I have to get well,
Yeah.
some of them are really important and you have to get through them. And some of them doesn't really matter now.
Yeah, yeah, it's exactly right. We just, just to get off the hamster wheel for a little while. I'm not saying you're going to get off it altogether, right? I mean, I
Right.
grind out my business like for 90 days on a regular basis, but after 90 days, like I need to take like 3 days a mini vacation. So I schedule it. If I take a girlfriend or I take whoever I take, right? But I
Hmm.
schedule it. So I always say, what life are you creating? Like time is on our side, right?
Right.
You're going to
Well,
ask
and I
questions.
think in order to well, I was thinking just off of what you said, all the prioritizing, we can't do that when we're on that wheel. So that's why I think the pause is so important for the future of our businesses and our mental health.
Yeah. It's all about how we think, right? I mean, Shakespeare says this quote that I love. It's called, "There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so." So, where's the thought process that women have to do everything? What did we pick up that we weren't supposed to pick up? And it's just time to lay it down and ask for help.
Well, you do have some really great, and I love that you call them gifts because they are gifts on your website. And I went through all of them, particularly the 7 questions. And it's so great. Like I am working on ending this year in alignment. I want to be in alignment instead of exhaustion, which is usually where I end every year. So going through that and the questions you ask were so wonderful, and it really was a wonderful tool. So I want to mention that now for people that are hearing this. And also you've got a journal on there. So there are ways to really start tapping into some of these things that you're actually talking about right now. What a wonderful gift to offer people.
Yeah, it's been there for a while. So yeah, take advantage of that for sure. Also, the pause method is in there also. We're having a retreat coming up in September in California. And that's all on there as well. But the pause method is on there as a formula. And really quickly, if I could just like walk you through the 5 steps.
Please
Please.
do.
I do teach a 5-week course on this. It's also on the website as well. But really, it's like, the first piece of the pause, it's just really to understand the patterns that we have. Like we all have patterns that we do, right? And every time you go, oh, I did it again. I mean, that's a pattern, right? Or maybe it's a good pattern, right? That you picked up. And to really understand what they are. And so the questions are asked, like if something really triggers you, it means we're not healed from it. Okay, based on your
Hmm.
reaction or your response. And if something triggers you, it's a good time to go, wow, when's the first time that I remember feeling that way? Right. It's just typically going to take you back to like your 8 to 12-year-old self somewhere. And it could be trauma. It doesn't have to be. It could be something that's happening now that's triggering you. Right. But typically you just got to figure out when's the first time and what was the message that I told it? What was the narrative? What was the story I put on
Mm,
top of it? Right. Because now, if I ask the question, I'm like, oh, wow, that happened to you when you were 9 years old. Like, tell me about that. Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. And then I can look at it and go, okay, so we just want to like accept that because that was our truth when we were young, but it doesn't mean it's truth today, right?
right.
We could be living that, bringing it forward, and it's really a lie. Because if you take your 8-year-old self and bring it forward, it's not truth anymore. Some people like say, I'm not, let's just pick the one that most people, I'm not enough. It's something, or I'm not a deserving. There's lots of stuff that run underneath there, but if you didn't feel like you were enough, like you've asked me to come be a guest on this. And so it's little things like that that I go, well, that's not a truth anymore. I don't need to live there. And if I showed up today, right, knowing that that's not truth and my truth is here, right? How would I see the world? What would my behaviors look like? Right? So to actually see the pattern, accept it without any judgment or opinion, it just was what it was. And now really like understand that story, but start rewriting that story, right? So understand it, unravel it all. I'm like, okay, let's rewrite the story because it's not truth. What is the truth today? Right? Well, the truth is you are enough. You're more than enough. You're beautiful. You're like exceptional. You're brilliant, whatever it is, right? And
I
so,
love
and
that.
then literally start practicing that new narrative because that's really the truth today. Because when you start fearing stuff, the problem is that we always grab something from the past. I always say it's our history of our
Hmm.
library, right? All the messages are in our library stacked up and some fear comes in and you just whoop, I know what that is and I know what that looks like. Well, no, you don't. You really don't know what that looks like. How many
It's different
times in our
today.
imagination, because that's what it is, it's our BS thinking imagination of this story that we've created, right? How many times does it really come true?
Yeah, that's such an important message. I think there's so many times I've said this to other people, and I rarely do it to myself. Like, what evidence do you have of that belief? Because I don't think that's true, and it doesn't seem like you have a lot of evidence about that. Your work must be so therapeutic.
It is. And we don't, it's not therapy. I'm not a therapist, right? I mean, I'm just doing what I've been through and what I've
Right.
learned because
Hmm.
therapists usually focus on the problems, right? Unraveling the problem. And I'm like, I'm not in that world. I'm like, what's the solution, right?
Right.
Where's the solution? Where's the pain? Let's just unravel the pain a little bit, not live there. And then where's the solution? And let's live in that new world versus this one, grabbing it forward. My whole thing is like helping people get into this new space of like what's possible. So I always, and one of my quotes I use is in uncertainty, there are so many possibilities, right? But in uncertainty, we grab fear and go, nope, I'm not going there. And then we or stay on the same wheel of life, right? And I'm like, no, it's like to challenge women to go, no, let's go there. But let's go there proactively. Like, let's just unravel it. Like I say to people, like, just explore, just like interrogate yourself so much that it becomes a game. It
Hmm.
doesn't need to be painful, but like just unravel that. What's going on? Why are we triggered? So I had to do it with my mom over time, and it doesn't trigger me anymore. I know how to balance that, right? I don't spend small amounts of times in a room, where it's just the questions and the stuff comes up that I'm not willing to talk about. Let's go do something for 3 hours. Let's get out of the house, go do something. And then the whole world changes. It's different. Now my relationship with my mom is very different because I chose to go, okay, what's working, what's not working? What can we do? Let's try this. Let's pivot and try this one. And this works. All right. And then I also give myself permission when I do get in a space, no matter what space it is, the word permission comes up again. I give my permission to do an hour. If the hour is too long, I give my permission to like maybe 30 minutes, regardless of
Hmm.
what it is, right? Permission to like leave a boardroom, because it's triggering something and I'm like, I'm not hearing what I'm saying, but I don't feel like I can say anything, right? Just permission to take a pause. Permission just to like, if you can't leave, just to go, okay, where's that coming from? Let me listen to this in a different frame, see what I could, participate in or not. Just a
Permission to,
different,
in that kind of scenario, permission to ask for clarification. Like you
yes,
are strong enough
yes,
and smart enough and capable enough to push back if you're not picking up or don't like what
right.
someone's saying because of the way that they're explaining it, to speak up and be like,
Yeah,
I don't like
yeah,
what this is sounding like. I may be hearing you wrong.
yeah.
Can you reiterate that? Can you change the way you're saying that? Can you explain it differently?
And even just you saying that, isn't that powerful
Hmm.
as a woman, but not
Very.
coming across as what they call us when we're strong women, right?
You
Bossy,
can
I
say
mean,
you can
I
aloud.
this is
boss bitch or whatever it is, right? So I have a mentor right now. I love her to death. Her name's Shayla. And I heard her say this on stage one day. She goes, we are like, very strong, independent women and we're powerful women, but sometimes you have to put the bunny suit on the outside and bounce around and and I'm like, wow, that's very interesting analogy, but it's true. There's a way to come across that you can still be powerful and poised and say what you mean and be seen, have a voice, and know you matter.
and that's changing, and I love being a part of seeing the different generations and how they're responding to society and how they're changing the cultural norms and the gender norms. But it's not completely changed. And there's different generations that are dealing with it differently. So I find myself
Yeah.
having to behave and speak in a variety of ways to make
That's a new
sure I'm being
thing.
heard and get my voice across. Because if I'm talking to a certain group of people, I need to show off my femininity and get them interested in what I have to say when I say it to get my way. And then there's other people that I could just be myself with. And then there's other people that I have to be very careful what I'm saying because I am also of a different generation and I don't know what they're accepting of these days. So there's like this different, entirely different language that has to happen with different people.
Do you find that you're putting on a different set of clothes everywhere you go?
Essentially,
So
yeah.
then, so what's the true authentic you? Who's getting to
This
see the
one.
true authentic you?
You guys.
Yeah.
Well, they're all
Yeah,
authentic. It's understanding that I have to speak a certain way to be heard by different people because their understanding of how the world works is
that's true.
different from mine. right?
That's
Like,
true. That's absolutely true. So it's all authenticity. You're just tweaking it a little bit, but still having your
right.
voice being seen and knowing
It's
that. Okay.
understanding that this
Yeah,
generation
I
or this type
agree.
of person isn't
I
going to
agree.
get it if I just come out and blurt it out. They're going to be like, "Oh my god," and they're just going to put
I
a wall
totally
up, and they're
agree.
not going to hear anything.
I'm ready. I'm ready to pause.
You ready to pause? Okay. So yeah, and then we have a retreat coming up in September. I'm actually going to do 3 master classes to prepare for that retreat. One in June,
Oh,
July, and
wow.
August, right? The
Okay.
retreat's going to be in San Francisco Bay Area. I think I'm actually looking at wineries right now for spaces to pick something amazing because we're going to have a meetup the night before. There's some breath work in the morning and then methodology and coaching, like real live coaching going on. So, and I got to tell you, the last retreat I did, like all the women broke free from something,
Mm,
some constraint that they had. I'm not safe.
right.
I'm not loved. I mean, there were just there's different ones, right? So, because the goal is for those messages to go bye-bye and to have harmony, peace, vitality, and community. Okay. Because we all need community to feel that we belong. Vitality is a difference of disease and all the stuff we create in our body from stress, right? And to have peace and harmony, right? So it's just, you know, we all have things that we do to sabotage that, right? To keep
Yeah.
ourselves small and stuck, right? Whether you feel like you don't belong, you're bad, or you're not enough, or, whatever, or you just trouble, whatever the message is for you. We do things to overcompensate for that, and then we never break free from them. And so that's what I'm passionate about is seeing women break free from that. Sometimes it takes 6 months, sometimes it takes 3 months, sometimes it takes no time at all. It just depends on how far you're willing to go, but that's the beauty of it all. So yeah,
Well, and
if
that's the
anybody's
whole
interested in those 3 months, 4 months, they can just DM me
Okay.
on my Instagram. This is Karen Bartholomew. Just give me a DM and put retreat. And the people that, are here, I will give them a discount to come.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's very generous. Thank
well, and I feel
you.
Yeah.
like
You're
coming out of
welcome.
that, you're going to be able to make more aligned decisions because you're
Mhm.
not fighting with this thing that you've carried that you don't even know that you're carrying. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that sometimes business growth is internal and not just business related because you can only accomplish what your brain has the capacity for. And if you're
Right.
holding on to
Right.
all these things because you're not pausing and you're not acknowledging them
Yeah.
and you're not working through them, how much can you actually grow?
Yeah. And I'm going to help women, create the next chapter of their lives. You can design whatever you want, right? It's like a jigsaw puzzle, every piece means something. What piece, what do you want to create?
I love
Right.
it.
Got a blank canvas. You can create whatever you want.
What
Perfect.
do you want to create? That's a
So, is
Yeah,
the
I
best.
mean, what is it? Like, if you had all
Mhm.
the time in the world, like, what do you want to create? If I know I need 8 hours of sleep, well, those are my 8 hours. I still have 2 more 8 hours. How much
Mhm.
do I really want to work? And if you're a young mom, you only want to work 9 to 2, right? Be home with your kids, right? Or whatever it is. So like really start creating that. If someone's told you you're not good at singing when you were young and you're afraid to sing now, but that's something you're really passionate about, right? So then go sign up for a singing class. Sometimes that's the first step, just to
Mhm.
research in the area, right? And then all of a sudden you start seeing that spark come back for people. Or if you like to draw, journaling's best. Like I said, and the journal prompts are, on my website, at karenbartholomew.com. And I mean, it's the best. When you really get stuck, journaling is a really good thing to just take some time and just ask the questions, right?
Right. So is the best way to get in touch with you through your Instagram and website?
Instagram is best, but you know what?
Okay.
I can give you my phone number. People can just DM me. I'm
Oh,
totally happy. It literally is 925-998-1360. I am happy for anybody just to text me, call me, let me know that you were on, you saw the podcast. And then, yeah, more than happy to do that. I like discovery calls if someone's really interested in being mentored because that 30 minutes really tells me where they are, where they're starting from, and where they really want
mhm.
to go, right? And then, it's just baby steps, along the way. I do one-on-one coaching and group coaching. So it just depends on what somebody's interested in. And then, yeah, as
Awesome.
many people as we can help, right? Like you guys are
Yeah.
doing the same thing here. Like my goal is really to get 1,000 women across the United States, right? That are part of this community. Because once you're in a group setting, I've had people that like were scared of dating. Like now she's found her man of her dreams, and I think they're trying to have a baby. Another one, just changed her job. She thought she was going to build, sell and buy a new home. They ended up just putting an ADU in the backyard so she could have an office because that was her
Mhm.
dream to have an office. I'm like, but she loved her house. right? And so things change along the way. One woman was just starting out in real estate. You know, had her walk downtown and just let every merchant know who she was. And now they all know her. So I'm like, the point is when you're on that side of the street, people will go, "Oh, that's Emily, the real estate gal. You
Mhm.
need to go talk to her." Right?
That's
So
That's
great.
great.
smallest little things that people don't think about can make a huge, huge impact in your life.
Mhm.
And it was just the one guy that asked me to take that class. It was
Wow.
just
Yeah.
that.
And look at all
Wow.
the people you've changed.
Mhm.
It's been a pleasure, like, watching it happen.
I'm
It
sure.
might first of all, and me most of all. I learned from everybody. That's the best
Right.
thing about coaching and mentoring.
Thank you so much for not only helping all of the people that you've helped along the way across these years and for taking that class and
Thank
changing
you.
everyone's lives and your own, but thank you for joining us today. I have so
Of
much to
course.
unpack and move through, and I got to answer all the questions and
Yeah.
always
Answer the
leaving with something to
questions.
do, Kelly.
What's that?
I said, we're always leaving with something to do.
I know, and it sounds like
Uh,
booking tickets to San Francisco might be on that list.
yeah, well, I will keep you posted. I will send you the information. If you go to the website under the pause method, just go to the pause method. It actually has questions on there too. You'll see it.
Mhm.
It's pink and white, and it'll walk you through each, phase, and it'll ask little questions in there as well.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
fantastic. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining
You're
us.
welcome. Thank you for having me.